Here we will see data provider in ADO.NET. ADO.NET data provider is a component that connects the application to a data source and it allows user to execute commands and retrieve data. Different components of ADO.NET are responsible for managing communication with the database based on the chosen data provider for specified database. ADO.NET data providers are similar to ODBC drivers, JDBC drivers and OLEDB providers. Each .NET data provider consists of the following main components. First, connection, which establishes a connection to the database using connection string, which consists of server name, database name, username and password. Command executes the SQL statements and store procedures against the data source. Then data retrieval. The data reader object, which allows for fast forward only and read only access to the data, is ideal for scenarios where you need to quickly iterate through large data set. And data manipulation. The data adapter object is used to populate the dataset in memory with data from the database and also to update the database with changes made to the dataset. The working of ADO.NET data provider is: first, choose a data provider. That is, based on the database that you want to connect, select the appropriate ADO.NET data provider. For example, for SQL Server, use SQL Client. For Oracle, use Oracle Client. After creating the connection, you have to open the connection to establish the communication with the database. Then create a command object which specifies the SQL statement or stored procedure to execute and associate this command with connection object. Then execute the command. For executing the command, we have three options: execute reader, execute non-query and execute scalar. Execute reader method is used to retrieve the data as data reader. Execute non-query is used for insert, update and delete command. Then process the data. For processing, read the data from the data reader and perform necessary operations on it. After performing the operations, close the database connection to release the resources. Benefits of ADO.NET providers are database specific optimization. Each data provider is optimized for its respective database, which leads to improved performance. Consistent interface. Despite different database technologies, the core ADO.NET classes, that is connection, command and data reader, provide a consistent interface for developers. And flexibility. Developers can switch between different databases by simply changing the data provider which is used in their application. Different built-in ADO.NET data providers are: for SQL Server, we will use system.data.sql client. For Oracle, we will use system.data.oracle client. For SQL XML, we will use system.data.sql XML. For ODBC data source, we will use system.data.odbc. For OLEDB data source, we will use system.data.oledb. And for SQLite database, we will use system.data.sqlite.